Hello and welcome to my video. My name is Jen, and while I did say I was going to do a digital piece for this Wednesday's video, I lied. Well, I didn't really lie, I guess. I just wasn't 100% sure what I was going to be doing. I ended up doing more watercolor practice just because I felt like it, and that's pretty much it. This paper is just basic. What is it? I can't remember what it is. Let's see. This is Daleroni Aquafine paper. So it's just, you know, basic student grade paper. And I have a lot of it. So I thought, we'll just practice on this stuff rather than use the 2 sheets of cotton, 4 sheets of cotton that I have left. Practice first before you use the better paper. Use the crappy paper to practice on to a point. Don't use like really crappy watercolor paper, which I have a bunch in a pile, which I'm going to do a video on because some of the cheap stuff's okay. Others, not so much. But, you know, live and learn. But yeah, and today I am going to be talking about style, I think. And the only reason I'm talking about that is because it has been going around on YouTube and on Blogland and all over the place because people are like, oh, I don't have a style yet. Well, a lot of people don't, and it's not something that just kind of happened. Well, it kind of does just happen, actually. You just develop a style over time through practice and trial and error. I mean, I'm, 39, and I don't have a set style, really. I mean, realism when I do it, fine, fair enough, but it is a style. But then something like this, not so much of a style, it's just practice, which is part of developing a style in the long run. But which hopefully I do get as good as I used to be at watercolors, maybe, hopefully. I mean, I was never really, like, the best at watercolors, but I was okay at it. And now I'm just, because I haven't used them for 5+ years, maybe? Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm really out of practice, which is also part of developing a style. But yeah, I mean, the whole practice makes perfect thing kind of works, but kind of doesn't. I don't mean, like, constantly drawing the same thing over and over again, even though that can kind of help, you know, muscle memory and all that crap. But on the whole, practice makes perfect is also about exploring different genres. Well, yeah, art genres, art styles, like other people's art styles, other mediums, other even paper, just to find out what fits you. And that's the whole, you know, style, like I said, it's not set in stone. It really isn't. I mean, I know people that are twice as old as I am that their style is nothing like it was when they were in their 40s. It constantly is changing. You know, even slight changes, you do notice it over time. I mean, there might be a certain way you like drawing things, but your style isn't set in stone, which is what I wish a lot of people would realize. And people put so much stress on style. Sometimes you won't develop a style. It sometimes doesn't happen. You draw, you create stuff, but it doesn't necessarily have a set style. You just like creating stuff. You can't say, you know, okay, we'll say a piece by Jen, you know, or something like that. I mean, you can kind of tell if I'm drawing like etchings and stuff. Drawing, you don't draw etchings, you kind of scratch etchings, but I mean, besides etching and like line work, like black line work, my style is all over the frickin' place. It honestly is, and I'm fine with that because I would be bored if I kept the same thing over and over again. Obviously, if you're drawing for somebody, like say if you're drawing like a comic book in a style, you gotta keep that style up through the whole run of you on that comic, or cartoon or animation, stuff like that. That's when your style does come into factor, especially if you're hired because of that style that you draw in. Then you kind of have to keep that up and try not to change so much. Because, I mean, slight changes are probably okay, but big changes, not so much. Because they hired you for that style. Which is why I'm not doing that. If I'm doing a comic, I'm doing it in my own style, because then if it changes, that's okay, because I'm the one that did it. When I did do a 12-page comic, was it? I can't remember how many pages it was, 9, 12, something like that. When I did a module at uni, I did it in watercolors. Actually, so yeah, it hasn't been 5 years, it's been 4 years since I last used watercolors. And it kind of worked for the style of the story about, you know, Wendigo and all that stuff, but I could have made it a lot darker. I probably should have put it into, like, a digital program and made it darker, because I would go back to using really dark watercolors. But anyway, I'm just getting off track here. I was going back to talking about style. But yeah, the whole style thing, is people, like, especially beginner artists or artists that are been drawing for a while but don't think they have a style, it might never happen. And that's not me saying, you know, oh, okay, you're a crap artist, stop drawing. No, it just might not happen. I'm stressing about it isn't a good thing. If you develop a set style or a way of working that, it doesn't have to be a specific, it can be a way of working that's part of your style, that is your style. Like, say you like working really abstract with watercolors, for example, that's a style. If you like working really realistic with oil paints, that's a style. So there doesn't have to be like a specific style as such in like the way things look. It could just be the way you use the materials is your style. So this whole, it's not so much an obsession, well, kind of is for some people, an obsession about having a style, it can be actually detrimental, because you're so worried about the style that you think you don't have, but you do. You might not realize it, but the way you create, that's your style. And that's the main thing. I mean, you might not think you've developed a style, but you have, because that's how you use the pencils or paint or something like that. I mean, obviously, I'm really heavy-handed with watercolors, and you can see that, because I go really dark really fast, but I think that's a throwback to the way I paint with oils and acrylics, which is probably it, which is probably why gouache and me don't get along at all. I'm determined, but I work on, like, basic watercolor first. But yeah, so, I mean, I've kind of figured out why I'm so dark, you know, but because it's just from painting. That's pretty much what it's from. Either sign painting, or especially with sign paintings, you want things to be dark and show up. But yeah, so that's why, I mean, my watercolor style is maybe just really dark, and I'm gonna have to live with it and find other ways, which you actually will see later on, that I do find a way kind of around it. And I actually like the style that this turns out to. I'm not too keen on it at the moment. It's way too dark. It's a lot more pinker than it is on the screen here, because the camera is really showing blues really oddly, and I don't know how to, I try to fix it, and I've edited it slightly, but it's still way too blue. But anyway, back to talking about styles. Because I've completely lost my track there. I really did. And I didn't write a script, but I had an idea what I was going to talk about. But yeah, so don't worry too much about getting a style, because you have a style, you just might not think you have a style. Just even the way people draw stick figures, that's a style of drawing. That is your style. Your style is so personal, it's always changing and growing. And somebody has a big lawnmower going out the back, you might hear that. But it's a nice day. It's the first nice day we've had here in like a week and a half almost, so people are taking the chance to mow their lawn and cut wood and fix something, I don't know. It's been really loud out in the back. But, you know, it's a nicer day. See how dark? That's way too dark looking at that. Anyway, so yeah, back to the style. I'm all over the place. Nothing new there. And I thought, well, let's put some red on it, and I really didn't like the red. This was a mistake, big time. But I make it fixing. At this point, I was like, this is crap. I really don't like it. Let's just mess around with colors and see what happens. So at this point, I'm not caring about style or the way things look, because it looks like crap, and I know that. But I do fix it in the end. So yeah. But yeah, style is a personal thing that can develop over time, but is there already. You just kind of grow as an artist, and your style develops along with that. The way you decide to create and the materials you decide to use, that's your style, really. You are your style, you know. So I wouldn't stress too much about not having a style, because you do. But yes, anyway, so this is how I fix it. Take my Posca pens to it. The fixer of many things. Which, once these are gone, I'm gonna have to find more markers, paint markers. I'll try some paint markers, probably find some cheaper ones. I like the Poscas, but they ain't cheap. So I decided, okay, we'll just add some random color and some lines, just because it's a little bit too loose for me. I like loose watercolors, but for me personally, the way I use stuff like create art, I don't like so loose things, unless of course it was like a project for college or uni, and then you have to do something really loose, like contemporary art and all that crap, or modern art, whatever you want to call it. So I just, at this point, I'm like, I'll just use all the colors, because I like color. Color's good. I'm trying to save this piece at this moment in time. And I don't like the little lines I do. I don't know what I did there. I honestly don't know what I was doing there. I don't know. That was a bad stylistic choice, we'll say. See, go back to style. But I like the line work of on the actual flowers. It's very pop artist kind of looking, and that's what I really like about it, actually. The flowers themselves, not so much the background. The background is, let's just ignore the background at this point. Because I really don't like the background. So I'm just adding yellow because, you know, yellow, blues, orange, blues, all that stuff, you know, stands out because, you know, color will, you know, color theory and all that stuff. Which is good to know, but you don't have to because, you know, your style will pretty much say whether you need to know all that or not. Some people do, some people don't. I find it handy because colored pencils, you use it, but other than that, it's really just put colors together that look good, sort of, until you get like a brown color, but you know, it happens. I had to speed this up to see how fast I'm moving. But I'm just adding more pinks because I thought, hey, we'll add some more bright colors because it needs it. And it looks okay, actually. I like it. It's very, very, like I said, pop arty, which is kind of another style, which is not normally my style because I'm not a huge fan of pop art, but it has its place. I'm more of like, usually like realistic kind of, semi-realism kind of, but this isn't finished. Like I said, I don't like the background. I like the flowers, the way the flowers look, but I don't like the background. So, I put it into a digital editing program, got rid of the background, which is what you're seeing now. So it's just the two flowers, which is like, so I guess actually, this did turn out to be sort of digital, I guess. I mean, mostly, you know, traditional art, I guess, but then there's a bit of digital in there. So I guess I didn't lie. Yeah, but so yes, that's my very quick sort of ramble about style, which you have a style, you might not think you do, but you do. And it's something not to worry about because then you kind of, I can't think of the word, jeez, Jen, but you kind of, oh, I really can't think of the word, so I'm like, ugh. But if you worry too much about having a style, then you won't create anything. You'll be too worried about, oh, what does this look like? And just create something. Have fun with it. That's really all that matters.